The United States Army is America's oldest military service and draws its lineage and heritage from the Continental Army. The United States Army is the only army in the world that defends an idea, not the mother or fatherland, not a dictator, monarch, or other potentate, but an idea where the people are sovereign. This idea, embodied in the Constitution of the United States, is what we support and defend. The storied history and faithful service of the Army began on 14 June 1775, when the Second Continental Congress recognized the need to provide for the common defense of all the colonies. Congress authorized the raising of companies, while also adopting established militia forces in Massachusetts and New York. From this time forward, the history of our nation is inextricably linked to that of our Army. Our Army has been and remains a faithful servant that won our independence, fought to keep our nation whole, helped to win the Cold War, secured America's interests and freedom for many around the world, and remains ready today to answer the call. The flag of the United States Army depicts elements from the original War Department seal that are all depicted on the current Army seal and emblem. The Roman armor is symbolizing strength and defense. The sword, bayonet, mortar, and surrounding pieces of ordnance represent the traditional weapons of the Army. The drum and drumstick symbolize the Army's purpose and intent to serve the nation and its people. The rattlesnake, holding the scroll, emblazoned with the Army's motto, "This we'll defend," represents the Army's constant readiness to defend and preserve the United States. The battle streamers reflect this nation's will to preserve freedom, no matter what the cost. Let us not forget the men and women who answered the call to duty and who fought and sacrificed on behalf of the American people. Reflect upon our distinguished record of service to the nation as we attach our battle streamers to the Army flag. Our Army was formed in 1775 by an act of the Continental Congress to fight for our freedom from the British. The war began on Lexington Green in 1775 and ended in 1783, 2 years after the decisive victory of the Continental Army over General Cornwallis and over 7,000 British troops at the Battle of Yorktown. For action in the Revolutionary War, the Army was awarded 16 scarlet and white battle streamers. The new nation expanded rapidly, but was still in the shadow of England. In 1812, our young nation was once again at war with England. The gallant defense of Fort McHenry during dawn's early light inspired Francis Scott Key's poem that later became the words to our national anthem. Remembering the War of 1812, the Army added 6 scarlet and white battle streamers. 33 years later, when the nation expanded westward, the adoption of the Republic of Texas into the Union plunged us into war with Mexico. A 5-month successful campaign from Veracruz to Mexico City is why we attach an additional 10 green and white battle streamers. In April 1861, the unity of our nation was threatened. Brothers battled against brother until 1865. The nation was preserved whole again in the Virginia countryside town of Appomattox, where Generals Grant and Lee ended the war between the states. The casualties of both the Confederate and Union soldiers are remembered by 25 blue and gray battle streamers. Across the land through the 19th century, our Army fought many battles of the Indian Wars. Legendary units like the Buffalo Soldiers made the area safe for settlers. For actions taken on various fronts, these Indian Wars earned the Army 14 scarlet and black battle streamers. "Remember the Maine" was the rallying cry after the sinking of the battleship Maine in 1898. An electrified nation fought the Spanish-American War on 2 fronts, more than 10,000 miles apart. Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders charged up San Juan Hill, while other American forces defeated the enemy at Santiago, Puerto Rico, and Manila in the Philippines. From these campaigns, the Army added 3 yellow and blue battle streamers. Tough guerrilla warfare and the commitment of almost 100,000 soldiers were required during the campaign of the Philippines insurrection, which began in 1899. In 1900, the nation called upon the Army to preserve our nation's interests in China. For these actions, the Army received 11 blue and red and 3 yellow and blue battle streamers. 1917, America was drawn into the war to end all wars. It was over there on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918. For the battles of the Great War, the Army received 13 double battle streamers. Less than 25 years later, America found itself in another world war. Great generals like Bradley, Patton, MacArthur, and Eisenhower became household names, while the liberation and defense of little-known places like Anzio, Sicily, Normandy, Bastogne, Bataan, and Guadalcanal took a terrible toll on human life. For the heroic actions of World War II, the Army received 38 battle streamers. In 1950, the North Korean Army stormed south across the 38th parallel. Under the flag of the United Nations, the United States responded with might that no other country could match. For this conflict, the Army received 10 battle streamers. Only a few years later, our nation would fight in a country that virtually no one had heard of, Vietnam. The Army fought bravely and learned many valuable lessons which would help mold a generation of future leaders. For these years of heroic fighting, the Army received 17 red, yellow, and green battle streamers. In October 1983, the Army once again answered the call for freedom as elements of airborne, light infantry, and special operations fought to restore the legitimate government of Grenada. Later, in December 1989, military forces of the United States entered the Republic of Panama to protect American citizens, defend the Panama Canal, and restore democracy to an oppressed people. For their valor, professionalism, the Armed Forces Expeditionary Campaign Streamer, embroidered Grenada 1983, and the Armed Forces Expeditionary Campaign Streamer, embroidered Panama 1989-1990, were affixed to the Army flag. In August 1990, Iraqi forces invaded Kuwait. America answered the call to duty by forming a coalition of some 30 countries. Desert Shield became Desert Storm when America's Army smashed through the opposing forces, and 100 hours later, we had achieved the objective of ousting Iraqi forces. 3 desert-colored campaign streamers marked the line drawn in the sand by the American soldier. Later, the Kosovo air campaign began because of ethnic cleansing that was taking place in the Balkans. The Army was sent in to make the country safe for all the citizens of the area, and to help establish governments elected by the peoples of the region. One in black campaign streamer was added when the air campaign ended on June 10, 1999, but our land forces remain there today. Following attacks by Al-Qaeda terrorist network on September 11, 2001, the United States Army invaded Afghanistan in support of Operation Enduring Freedom, and on 20 March 2003, our Army invaded Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. For actions completed, the Army has added the Global War on Terrorism streamer, 2 Operation Enduring Freedom streamers, and 3 Operation Iraqi Freedom streamers. It was General George Washington who established the Army's basic combat training at Valley Forge during the harsh and unforgiving winter of 1777. Through the establishment of standards and discipline, the repetition of drill, and inspiring leadership, they trained an Army with the proficiency, confidence, and esprit de corps to win our independence. Today, basic combat training continues to forge America's Army, ensuring our soldiers are ready for combat by being disciplined, physically and mentally tough, and proficient at actual soldier tasks, by exhibiting a high esprit de corps through their commitment to Army values and the warrior ethos, and by demonstrating the military bearing the American people expect of their soldiers. Now, the commander will determine if you have met those expectations.
Battalion! Company! Legend! Just! Commanders, have your trainees met the standards and earned the right to be called a soldier?
Man, 233 trainees, that's completed a forge.
40 rounds.
40 rounds. first 4 War Eagles have successfully completed the forward.
Quarter round.
Quarter round.
Commanders, congratulate and welcome your soldiers into the ranks of our Army and our profession of arms. Place the Army patch on your soldiers.
20 rounds, ma'am.
Those who have earned the right to be called soldiers march under the red, white, and blue banners. Stand tall now under these banners as you reaffirm your oath of enlistment.
Battalion! Company! I take jet! Soldiers, raise your right arm. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. That I will support, defend. The Constitution of the United States. Against all enemies. Foreign and domestic. And that I will bear true faith. And allegiance to the same. And that I will obey the orders. Of the President of the United States. And the orders of the officers. Of one government. According to regulations. And the Uniform Code of Military. So help me God. Lower your arms.
You have earned the right to be called a soldier. Always a soldier for life. You join the phalanx of the best trained, best equipped, and best led army in history. The strength of our army rests with the character, competence, and the commitment of every soldier in our ranks. We thank you for answering the call and are confident that each will do his duty to live by the Army values and to exhibit the esprit de corps and commitment reflected in the warrior ethos. Welcome to our profession of arms. You will now recite